Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for the second film out of this duology that I hope will eventually be a trilogy called Scare Package 2. It came out in, by the way, I didn't finish the title. Scare Package 2, Rad Chad's Revenge. 2022 was when this film came out, last year, 3 years after the previous film. And it's on Shudder. That's where I watched this at, just in case I didn't say that yet. It's about an hour and 38 minutes. Thank God it was shorter than the previous film, because the previous film was like an hour and 50 minutes, and it was too much. As you might know, if you saw my review I just uploaded before this video about Scare Package 1, I was not a fan of Scare Package 1. It had its moments, it had some good lines as a comedy horror thing, just like this movie is. It had those moments, it had some good things like the synthwave 1980s feel to it a lot of the time, and the comedy roots of it sometimes worked, most of the time it didn't. And I liked those aspects, but I overall didn't like the film. And I said in my review, too, that if you didn't like that movie, you should still give this film, Scare Package 2, a try, because Rad Chad's Revenge is so freaking good. Depending on what your horror tastes are, what you like, I thought this was way better. I thought it was a way better, more well-made movie. And even the budget seemed a little bit better to me, personally, compared to the first film from 2019. It seems like the humor overall in this film can still be over the top, can still be goofy, can still make you laugh, and to me, I laughed a lot more than the first film. Almost every scene had me laughing about something. To me, this film felt like the humor was a little bit more creative and a little bit more subtle, honestly. So let me get to the actual plot of Rad Chad's Revenge. Of course, you know, Rad Chad was the store owner in the previous film, and Mr. Rad Chad actually, he died in that film, and he is about to have his funeral, and a bunch of people show up. They're not even people that really know him all that well. It might be like his lawyer or accountant and different things like that. And they show up for this funeral, and while they're there, Rad Chad has a TV rolled in front of his casket that has a video of him doing some kind of, you know, just telling people like, hey, I love you guys, you're my friends, my family, whatever. None of his family show up at all, which I thought was brilliant. I thought it was way funnier than I thought it would be. After watching Scare Package 1 just earlier yesterday, I thought it was going to suck. But Scare Package 2 really sold me because basically he kidnaps all of these people that came to his funeral and puts them in a very Jigsaw-like game, like from the Saw movies. And I'm a huge Saw fanatic, as many of you know. And I will tell you, I thought this film's subtlety and humor, I thought the over-the-top nature when it goes that direction, I thought it worked so much better. And for the wraparound story, being a Saw parody, I thought it was genius. I loved it. I thought it was so fucking good, and I can't believe people aren't talking about that more. It really, for me, hit every single note that I want a horror comedy to hit, and it kind of surprised me that more people didn't like this one, because when I go online, Scare Package 2 is rated so much lower than the first film, and I don't understand what happened between me and the audience members that liked the first one that I didn't connect with that one, but I really, really connected with this one. I don't understand what happened, but I love this way more. I think overall it's better in filmmaking and all that. The stories here are not just typically focused around slasher cannon fodder like the first film was. It seemed like every segment in that film were focused around a slasher element with a same old generic villain. This one has that sometimes, but it doesn't stay focused on that. And the way it utilized slashers, the way it utilized humor from slasher movies that you know and I know, was way better. I loved it. Thought it was so good. I really don't want to talk too much about the segments. I really just want to focus on that wraparound with the Jigsaw stuff. Of course, they have different directors and writers working on each segment and whatever, and I thought all of them melded a beautiful film, except for one standout story that I thought was really good and really creative. I've seen something like that similar in the past, but I thought it was really well done. It was basically about, if you ever heard of The 3 Men and a Baby, I think is that movie, that there was the idea that there was a cardboard cutout of a kid that was in a window, and people thought it was a ghost caught on film for a very long time, and people still typically do. And this movie talks about that a little bit with a story that kind of parodies that, of this like open curtain on a film when this one girl's brother died and they're going through his stuff. This video they find has a figure standing in a window where the curtains are kind of blowing and stuff. It's kind of eerie. The image itself is very eerie. And they're not really sure what kind of curse could be focused around this thing. It's a pretty surprisingly serious little short film, and I was kind of surprised that that was even included in this film because everything else is so goofy and over the top and gory, really gory. I thought it would be more like everything else, but it wasn't. And it kind of had a nice little standout, because if we're talking about the horror genre, you have to have different subgenres. You have to. And I think this really nailed that even better compared to the first film. And the writing for it was good for pretty much every segment. The acting was good for pretty much every segment. I really enjoyed that. Overall, I just think it's a better film. And once again, the same actor came back to play Rad Chad. He is wonderful. I love this guy. I think he's a great, great actor. I was trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to discuss before I end the video. Of course, we keep the 80s, 1980s, excuse me, synthwave soundtrack, which was really good. I really love that. It fits this so well. The Jigsaw parody, once again, is excellent. Excellent. The cameos from the previous film are really good. We have the lead actress that survived the end of the first film coming back to this movie. She's one of the people at the funeral, and so is her girlfriend and whatever. By the way, the film is a little bit woke. Not because of that, but just because of like certain things they keep constantly nailing on, and they kind of make jokes out of those things, so it's not really woke, but it's just annoying to take people out of the film experience and how good Scare Package 2 was, to keep hitting this note and this note about feminism and male privilege and stupid shit like that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I don't care if it was done for a joke. Please leave it alone. You're just going to piss people off. It's probably one of the big reasons people like just destroyed this thing in the ratings, because they probably took it the wrong way. I recognize that most of it are jokes, but please, just don't even try. You're going to piss somebody off. Just don't do it, okay? Be smart. Now, the practical effects. I talked about how in my first film review for Scare Package, the first film, I thought it had really amazing like practical effects. It had some CGI gore in here and there, but I understand that with this kind of project, not something big Hollywood based, but this film I do understand that kind of thing. The practical effects and the makeup look, to me, sometimes better here than the Part 1 film. I think they really do. I think they really nailed a lot of it here. I think it really became more effective in this film. It seemed like to me the first film had more first-time filmmakers working on it. In this film, it seemed like it was really not that. It seemed like people had more experience now. They were making more things. They knew how to make better projects, even if it's not the same directors and writers coming back for each segment. It just felt like this was better overall to me, and the filmmaking, the execution of it, all of that. And yet at the same time, it just doesn't feel that much different from that first movie. To me, it feels less cheap. But the jokes, the writing of the Jigsaw parody and all of that, I loved all of that. Because I'm a huge Saw fan, like I said. That stuff landed for me so well. The parodies and references of so many other horror projects were so fucking perfect. I don't care what anybody says. I thought they were great. I thought all of them were great. I didn't think this film swung and missed many times. I really mean that. And it's surprising to me because the first film is filled up with just as many jokes. They just don't land the way this one does, you know? With all that being said, though, Scare Package 2, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good flick. I thought it had a lot to offer. I thought it was really enjoyable and fun to watch. Compared to the first film, I don't know what happened between these two that made this one stand out so much more to me. But I would buy this. If it's on, like, DVD or something, I would totally buy this because I really, really loved it. Great flick. Really good flick. Not perfect, but just really good. Really enjoyable. If I had to rate Scare Package 2 Rad Chad's Revenge on a 5-star basis, I would easily give this a 4 out of 5 stars. What a movie, man. What a wild, crazy little flick. If you haven't seen this, you're really missing out, I think. But you do need to see Part 1 to really enjoy and appreciate, to me, Part 2 here. Anyway, have you seen it? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Again, like I said in my previous review, I do think they're going to make a Part 3. It kind of ends on a cliffhanger, which is kind of unsatisfactory for everything we went through in this movie, watching our characters go through the Saw parody and stuff. But I would really love a Part 3. I hope they make it, because of course this film just came out last year in 2022. It's very possible in the next couple of years they could make that, so hopefully they do. Maybe 2 more years down the road. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you all, and goodbye.